Buy one, get one free.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I am playing Mondrak Mono White tokens. Mondrak Glory Dominus creates double the tokens as long as it is on the battlefield. It can also become indestructible by sacrificing artifacts or creatures. Mondrak is part of the Dominus cycle. There's one in each color and they're all pretty cool. They have a theme of doubling, and in this case we get twice as many tokens, which is great for repeatable token generation. Things like Adeline, whenever a creature attacks, you get one human. Why get one when you can get two? We've got lands that we can activate to create tokens. We've got things that just make a token every turn, like the Skrelv's Hive. And we also have ways to make more Mondraks. And by ways, I mean way. Helm of the Host is kind of the best thing we could be doing with Mondrak, because if you have two Mondraks out, you're going to end up probably not even with two Mondraks. You're going to end up with three, because you're going to be creating double the Mondraks, and then each Mondrak will double each other token you're creating, and it becomes powers of two very, very quickly. Magic the Gathering Arena only lets you have a maximum of 250 tokens between all your different types of tokens, though. So even if you start double, 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 you're going to hit that token limit pretty quickly. We also have a bunch of very good mono-white planeswalkers that happen to create tokens in this deck. Mono-white and some colorless ones. Karn, because if you're making more tokens, it gets stronger with the -2 ability. And Ugin, who creates 2/2 spirits, one of which, when you are creating a bundle of them, will get you card advantage. We have a bunch of things in this deck also that buff up your board, like In the Trenches, which also doubles as a one-off piece of removal, and some X-cost spells that create X tokens, one of which, a brand new one, White Sun's Twilight, doubles as a board wipe. This deck is very fun. It's definitely not the strongest because you are in just white, which means that you're kind of limited in what interactions you can get, especially if you want to focus on the tokens theme. Mono white has some good prison-ish cards, most of which don't work that well with this deck because you want to be creating lots of creature tokens. But one of them does, and that's Smothering Tithe, because if your opponent declines to pay the 2, you actually get 2 mana out of this ability. If you wanted to get really cheeky, you can put in ways to tutor to this spell. You can put in some of the symmetrical white card draw that lets both players draw cards, and then you can essentially get all these treasures and use them for fun and profit. I'm not doing that, so we're just going to make a lot of tokens, and we're going to be doubling them up, so let's make a token or two in the queue. Casman is playing Lazav, the Multifarious, able to clone creatures in the graveyard. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, sort of. That's enough to play to my commander. I'm gonna keep this. This Lazav becomes a copy of a creature in their graveyard, which means they are probably running some funky kinds of self-mill, and some really cool cards that either have downsides when they would enter the battlefield. That's usually how I see it. Or are just going to be really, really strong passively while present. This also gives them the ability to just play 2 really strong colors. Blue and black together is strong. It's really strong. I'm just gonna crush this little bird, speaking of which. I could have waited for them to attack and tried to use Eiganjo, but taking out this birdie feels good to me. My commander Mondrak is going to look to get very wide during this game. Because of their colors, blue and black, I'm actually going to play Anointed Procession over Mondrak. I feel like there's probably a lot of ways that their deck can kill or exile Mondrak. So until I can protect it, I just want to keep myself safe. There's a little bit of enchantment removal. There's some ways to bounce it in blue and in black, but it's not a ton, and I'll still get to do the thing I want to do, which is make some tokens. Serra the Benevolent, and we make, boom boom, 2 angels. I'm looking, by the way, they put both Jin Gitaxises in their graveyard, They have enough mana to reanimate one of them, if they would like to, if they have the right reanimation spell. Oh, thank goodness. They didn't reanimate one. Oh, but they're thirsty. Oh, they're so thirsty. I'm thirsty too. I'm waiting for my tea to finish brewing in the other room. I think it's time to swing in. Let's give these creatures +1/+1. That's a 10 damage swing. That's a lot. I'm doing quite a bit here. I could use Horn of Valhalla to make a ton of soldiers, but I'm gonna go for Eternal Wanderer, and I'm gonna make a pair of double strikers.
Keep your eyes sharp.
They take an extra damage at the start of the turn. And Shadow's Verdict, all my tokens are gone. Also exiled. They also exiled their Leisure Shredder. Rip. Lazav the Multifarious is going to let them surveil. They keep whatever card is on top of their deck. It's time for Mondrak, though. Mondrak, behold! Let's make 8. No, sorry, 4 2/2s. Yeah, because we get 2 and then 2 again. And then I'm going to sacrifice Serra, to make 4 angels too. All right, so now I've got an army. They have 11 life remaining. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a time warp, okay. I was thinking, do they have enough mana to bring back the things that would win the game? Or turn into them, I should say. Like, Lazav could turn into that worm to gain a lot of life, but it wouldn't have reach. Time for turn number 2. Now they have 10 life remaining. Vraska's Contempt on Mondrak. Okay. Hands off. I can't make it indestructible to stop that. Like, I could sacrifice things for no reason, but, like, doesn't do it. Now they have 4 mana left, but it looks like that 4 mana isn't going to be enough. They already wiped the board of tokens once, but they couldn't do it twice in a row. Good game, Lazav. Muldrotha the Gravetide. A reanimator of all sorts of permanents. Muldrotha is great with all sorts of enter the battlefield abilities, sagas, things that sacrifice themselves. Muldrotha is a value commander in colors that generate a lot of ramp and have a lot of great cards. I also got a turn 1 Esper Sentinel, so I'm in Value Town too. I love Value Town population Esper Sentinel. Love it so much I'm going to protect the Esper Sentinel with my Elside of Life's Bounty, which I can sacrifice to give protection from a color. I would like to draw more cards, please, and thank you. I also have a backup of my commander, the Anointed Procession. Cute. Ooh, all these lands are coming in tapped, causing some pain. Spread Talisman, they pay a life, make something cost less. This is good with Muldrotha because it will make it cost less now and later. So that is Plague Crafter. I'll sacrifice the Elside. Esper Sentinel, continue your duties. We've got Halo Fountain, Wedding Announcement. Let's go for Wedding Announcement. Start getting some tokens on the battlefield. One token. We're discounting something else from their hand. Oracle of Moldiah, not a land on top of the deck. They do have 2 in hand, and we know they have a Fatal Push coming up. Fatal Push will be able to kill most things we have here. Yep. Most things die to that. If I do Halo Fountain, there's not much I can follow up with. We got Anointed Procession. I kind of like Patriot's Humiliation. Kill the Oracle so they can't go any crazier. This also is completely silenced, so they can't continue for next turn. I'm going to Foretell Starnheim Unleashed, so we can get double the tokens off of it on a future turn. We attack with 2 things, we get a card. Nice. Plains. And a Fatal Push on Esper Sentinel. They pay the 1. Cool. What do you have left? Black Market Connections. I hope you pay 6 life every turn, because that is the brave, powerful way to play this game. Is it time for Mondrak? Time for Mondrak? It's time for Mondrak. Mondrak, I will swing in with one human. Boop. They have discounted a card in their hand. And I have made tokens. Many tokens. This flipped over into Wedding Festivity, which means I get to, get a nice +1/+1 bufferino. Do you want to make tokens? What kind? Alright, so they're making a treasure, and just making a treasure. Okay, what's the jam here? Binding? On who? On Mondrak? No, no, no. My Mondrak, at the cost of blood and creatures, is indestructible. I need that for doubling tokens. Now they might have another, like, follow-up spell here. No, okay, cool. Mondrak lives. We got a Field of Ruin. Okay. I want more tokens. I know this is a very greedy play rather than just playing the things we've got here. But greed is good and fun and can result in a very large number of creatures on the battlefield. Muldrotha comes on out. Hello, Muldrotha! Right now there's nothing they can recast from the graveyard because they just don't have enough mana. And I would like to unleash. Starnheim Unleashed. We're gonna start with Mind Stone, I think, just because our mana works out like this. Yep. Alright, cool. We're gonna do this for X equals 2. 1, 2. So we're not going to make 2 angels. We're gonna make 4 times 2, because we're doubling, and then we're doubling again. And we result in this. All of the angels. If I wanted to swing for a potential lethal that turn, by the way, Basri Ket would have been the way to do it, because we could have made 8 2/2 attackers by using the minus ability and attacking with Mondrak. But that's not as fun. And I know what I'm here for. And what I'm here for is to make outrageous numbers of tokens. They have 3 life remaining. They drew a card off Black Market Connections. They can recast any of these from the graveyard. Not this. This, or this. If they'd like to destroy one permanent. Make me sacrifice one thing. Is there anything you can do? You could pay more life. This person has paid a lot of life. I've barely hit them this game. That's not true. I dealt like half their damage through actually attacking. Put on the snow. Everybody dies except for Mondrak, who is just kind of vibing. Sup, says the Mondrak. They didn't have enough snow to reanimate anything? That's a shame. Yeah, they paid with the snow they had, but it wasn't enough. It was like Mondrak's gonna win. Good game. Amara, Soul of the Accord, is a Selesnya tokens deck that's a lot more aggressive than the Mondrak mono white tokens I've got going on. You can kind of see that just in my opening hand. I'm not doing anything until turn 3. In turn 2, they'll already have Amara out, and they might even have ways to tap her to start producing tokens. We're going to go as best as we can and as fast as we can, though, up against Amara. If you're not familiar with her, whenever she taps, she makes one of these life-linking soldier tokens, and there's a lot of ways to tap her, such as the Convoke mechanic, which happened to be in the same set as this card, returning mechanic that lets you pay mana costs by tapping creatures of those colors. I love Convoke, I love Selesnya, and Amara, being a Selesnya creature, is my friend. Alright, they attack, they make a token, 3 mana, battle for Bredegard, that's going to be making tokens which they can then copy We're gonna go get Adeline out here. Hello, Adeline. Battle for Bretagard. They have now 3 different types of tokens, and they're gonna be able to copy all of the different tokens they have next turn. If they get out a token doubler, like Mondrak, that will really fill up their board quickly. Or they could just produce more types of tokens. Maybe they've got an Essica's Chariot or something that can make some 2/2 cats. My guess is they will still attack with Amara. It's a free attack. I can block, but they'll get a soldier token out of this. Looking good. Smothering Tithe. Well, I don't know about this. I think that I need to decline here. And by the way, they will be able to copy any artifact tokens they have. So that's going to give them 2 mana. But I feel like I need to do something on this turn. And the something I'm going to do is play History of Benalia. And I'm going to swing in with Adeline. I don't think they'll block, because blocking would reduce the types of tokens they have, which would give them less things to copy for next turn. So part of what I wanted here was to fuel my Nykthos. With Nykthos, I'm going to be able to generate more mana than I have lands if I have a high devotion, which currently I have 4 devotion, meaning that this will turn 3 mana into 4. And I could play Esper Sentinel first to turn the 4 into 5. It's a good way to build up the board. Unfortunately, Halo Fountain's not super useful right here because my creature that I'm attacking with has Vigilance. Ooh, and their creatures are very big because I gave them treasure tokens. And these treasures can be sacrificed to buff up the intrepid adversary, make their army grow. Now, they could swing in with these, sacrificing one of these tokens, getting Amara in there. I think that that's a good move. I'm going to block one of the 3/3s with Lifelink. Take the rest. Oof, oof, ow, owie. I'm going to decline again. Make another knight. Play the Esper Sentinel. I mentioned before, it helps with the Nykthos. I could Soon's Intervention here. That would get rid of this Smothering Tithe. But I'd rather get rid of the Intrepid Adversary because it is the big thing that's buffing up all these tokens right now. I've got Adeline now as a 6/4, but I feel like it would be too easy for them to block it. If I attack with a 1/1, it's a fine attack because it will essentially turn itself into another 1/1. So, like, we get a 1/1, we get another 1/1. They block one for free with the Golem, and the other one either gets through or trades with another token. I might be behind on life total, but I now have a 7/4 and a 4/6. And next turn, I'll have a slightly buffed attack off my knights. By the way, Adeline, also a knight. Cavalier of Dawn, also a knight. History of Benalia gives all my knights +2/+1 until end of turn. I know, I gave them a token. If they have some ways to clone their tokens, like Reese in their deck, they probably do, this will become more. Ooh, Tristani! One of my other favorite Selesnya cards. Tristani Discordant is going to return any stolen creatures. I'm mono white, I don't really steal creatures. And it's going to give +1/+1 to all their creatures and create a couple little soldiers! Oh, is everybody coming in again? Gee, alright. I'm going to get the Cavalier here. We're going to try to trade for Amara. We're going to also block there, and that's exactly 10 going through, so I do need to block one more thing. There we go. Fewer knights for me to swing with next turn, but I am still alive. And being alive feels important. Alright, so I'm putting an upkeep stop here. Eidolon of Obstruction, that's fine. Because before I draw, I'm going to take out that Smothering Tithe. We're gonna destroy an enchantment, an artifact. And yeah, I know, this is also an enchantment. We're gonna gain some life. But most importantly, they're not gonna get another treasure. Now I'm gonna get lots of guys. Ooh, okay. Sacrificing that. Floating their 1 mana. I've got 1 mana floating too. Ooh, Skrelv's Hive. Not really what I want right now, since, well... I don't want to pay 1 life. Go to the main phase. The Knights all get their buff. I think I'll swing in with the Knights. And I'll play Luminarch Aspirant too. I'll have it buff itself up. By the way, they can super block this 1/1 token here if they want to just like gain a bunch of life. Right now, their life total is something I'm gonna have to deal with later. What I need to do is I need to stabilize and outvalue them and somehow survive. If they get an Elesh Norn off the top of their deck, they would also need land, but that would take me out. If I got one, I'd be able to take them out, because all these little 2/2s suddenly become 0/0s. Also, if they do manage to, like, triple block the Cavalier of Dawn, I would be able to bring back History of Benalia or Esper Sentinel. Alright, they take the hit, but they're a lot wider than me. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures on the board. And now any of those creatures that are humans, these two, are getting +1/+1. So we're going to block the biggest things on the board. We're going to continue to block anything else that's causing me problems. And we're probably still dead. In fact, it's exact lethal. And we die, but that was a great game of tokens versus tokens. We're up against Yorn, God of Winter, a Sultai commander who untaps your snowlands whenever it attacks. Yorn is usually played as kind of like a Simic flash with a splash of black in it, but it could also be played with lots of snow. I'm not really sure. We're going to have to find out as we play against them. So right now in my hand, I have a way to create some tokens. I have some artifact and enchantment destruction. I've got the Eternal Wanderer, which is both a board wipe and a token generator. And I've got Sanctuary Warden, who draws cards, makes tokens, and is a giant 5/5 flyer. What a great card it is. But we're going to have to discard either Oketra's Monument or the Eternal Wanderer to this duress. All right, so they chose Oketra's Monument. I guess we're not going to be making any 1/1s. That's a shame. That's a shame. Cultivate, they're ramping. More snowlands, more fun. Right now, they actually only have 1 snow, so they're going to be getting 2 more here. 1 in their hand and 1 onto the battlefield. Also, yes, I am very congested right now. I actually took a day off streaming because I'm sick. Makes me sad. Loran, I probably want to save until there's an artifact or enchantment for me to destroy. She's a very nice new piece of interaction, kind of a reclamation sage in white. That also has both players are able to draw a card. It's a nice ability to have. Now, I feel like if I play Mondrak, Mondrak's going to die. But I'm still going to go for it. It might get countered, too. Mondrak on the battlefield. Look, I now have a 4/4. 4/4 and a sip of coffee. Ooh, but we're being dragged to the bottom. Oh, no. This is a domain spell that gave -4/-4 to all creatures. It essentially was Languish. In fact, drag to the bottom makes me think that they have a lot of board wipes, because running that in this deck seems like an unusual choice. Let's go ahead and play the Luminarch Aspirant. And I could hold Loran. I could play her. If I played her, I'd probably like put the +1/+1 counter on her to block Yorn when he attacks in. All right, Terramorphic Expanse. They're going to grab more lands. This time, more black mana. It gets untapped. They didn't cast anything pre-combat, though, which makes me feel like whatever's in their hand is something that's a little slow. All right, we're going to get the Sanctuary Warden out here. Or try to. Wash away. Okay, it's been countered. I was hoping to remove the +1/+1 counter off the Luminarch Aspirant. Did not go that way. Did not happen. I could block here. I don't think that that's a great move, though. Especially because this is almost a 4/4. Oh, some rabble rousing. I love rabble. Allow me to rouse it. I've got my Mind Stone, and then rabble rousing. This might get countered. It feels like they do have a counter spell available. Yep, negate. And Luminarch Aspirant, I'm just going to sit here. Now, this should discourage them from attacking in, unless they have some removal. Great. I can play Mondrak, but I can't very easily protect Mondrak. I would have to sacrifice these two things. I'm going to go for something bigger and scarier. Hellish Norn. Grand Cenobite. This is a very, very nice creature to have in a tokens deck. Mine got countered, which stinks. But what I really love about Hellish Norn is it is a super anthem. It makes my creatures stronger and it makes my opponent's creatures much, much weaker. Alright, we're getting lands. We're getting so many lands. I'm gonna go for Mondrak. Get a counter on Mondrak. Swing in with the Luminarch Aspirant. Because if they were playing Drag to the Bottom... By the way, there is a way to get a domain equals 5 in any green deck. Oh, okay. Witness Protection. This is now a 2/2 because it's a 1/1 with a +1/+1 counter on it. I imagine that they're running Languish and other effects, so making things into 5/5s felt like a good way to protect my battlefield. I can actually blink my legitimate business person. I could also go for Helm of the Host. And I feel like it would make Mondraks and not business people. I'm going to find out. Excellent. I now have a Mondrak back on the battlefield. I don't have enough mana to sacrifice these to, say, make a Mondrak indestructible. But once we have a Helm of the Host active, yes, I made one Mondrak this turn, but next turn I would be making more and more and more, which would be doubling the doubles to double even more, and slowly but surely taking over the board state. Good game, Yorn. Yorian Sky Nomad. An Azorius Blink commander who doesn't just blink creatures, but also blinks any kind of non-land permanent they control. Yorian's pretty scary, especially because it can be played with some pretty great non-creature pieces. I'm going to hope, though, that we're going to be able to overtake them just by flooding the board before they can remove all of our creatures. Though there are some nice new additions to this deck that can make me, say, sacrifice my board, like Portal to Phyrexia. That thing getting blinked gets real scary. Oh, I was kind of hoping that they would spit out an artifact or enchantment for me to destroy. That's okay. I'm gonna hold Loran back until we have a target for her. She just loves breaking things. We swing in once more. I'm going to play Mondrak. Oh, looks like with this 2 blue mana up, this could be a counterspell, a wash away or similar. Could also be other sorts of removal, like Swords to Plowshares! There we go. Sorry, I bopped my microphone there. There goes my token doubling, delayed by a few turns. Nice. Urza's Construction Drone. This is going to put the 3 Urza lands into their deck. But this is also a construct, so I'm going to destroy it. Get out of here. When it's destroyed, by the way, they do get one of these lands in hand. I do not know which, but they do get one. I want to trigger the Clarion Spirit, so we're going to play Retrofitter Foundry, and then swing in. Retrofitter Foundry is a 1-mana artifact that lets me repeatedly create tokens. I can also sacrifice my tokens to make a different kind of token. That's really great with Mondrak, because I can use it to essentially upgrade what I'm producing. Oh, okay. Elspeth Conqueror's Death will be able to bring back Urza's Construction Drone. Wow. struggling with words today. What else is new? I could go for just Serra the Benevolent, go for tokens, get them a little bigger. I really do want to make use of this token doubling, but because of that tax from Elspeth Conquers Death next turn, I'm going to just go for Serra the Benevolent, make an angel, and swing in. I'll be able to make a 1/1 off the Retrofitter Foundry. They can blink this, but if they blink it, the only valid target is Serra the Benevolent, who's already essentially done her job. She has made this angel possible, but I continue to be taxed. We're going to go ahead and get wild with things, though. I'm going to attack with everything. This is my way of saying, oh, I'm just a little tokens deck. I'm not scary at all. Wandering Emperor, come on out. They went to block the biggest thing, which means we get the trade. Yorion dies. We get 4 damage in. And I can upgrade this servo during their turn by turning it from a servo into a Thopter. Wandering Emperor. What a wild card. Oh, Pull of the Mist Moon. This is a kicked Pull of the Mist Moon. It is able to exile something. And then I'm trying to remember the other piece here. When this permanent enters the battlefield... something in their hand is also now a Banishing Light. They took out my token. Definitely go for Mondrak now. Please don't counter Mondrak. Yay! No Mondrak counter! We're gonna swing in with all our little critters. Pass the turn. Urza's construction drone returns, gets a +1/+1 counter. They get more Urza lands into deck. So now they have 1 copy of Urza's Mine in their library, 2 copies of Urza's Tower, and 2 copies of Urza's Power Plant. But I think they realized what was about to happen. Remember that little 1/1? This little 1/1 was about to become 2 4/4 constructs, which gave me just a lethal swing in unless they were able to remove enough of my board. And that, combined with the fact that we actually had a board wipe in hand, we had the Bankbuster for card draw, we were in a really solid position on this board. Good game, Yorion. Oh, it's time for Jund Sacrifice, featuring Corvold, the Fakehurst King. I've got a nice hand here, I've got some removal, I've got a creature that grows over time, I've got a token producer or a big old board buffer. And of course, we've got our Commander Mondrak off 3 lands here. I think this should be fine. Here we go. Turn 1 of Plains. So Corvold is the dragon, which gets bigger every time you sacrifice and draws you cards. It has an ability that allows it to sacrifice things when it attacks. In fact, it forces it to sacrifice things as it attacks. And enters the battlefield. It gets big really, really fast, but you have to be careful about when you want to play it, because you don't want to, say, have to sacrifice your entire mana base just to get your commander out on the battlefield. Luminarch Aspirant, I'm going to go ahead and just get on the battlefield turn 2. I'm sure some people are like, did you use your Swords to Plowshares on turn 1? I sure as heck did. There was an elf on the board. I'm not dealing with that. There was an Elvish Mystic. That's like Llanowar Elf, but not. And I do not want them to have that. So I got rid of it. Slowing down their game plan by an entire turn. Bolt the bird, swords the elf. since I've already played the Blade Splicer. I don't exactly have way to double up this token, but it's still a great card to have. This is just one of these, like, hey, it's a 3 mana, make a 3/3 with First Strike. It's good. It's a good card. I'm going to sip my coffee and keep that caffeine flowing. I'm gonna counter on the Blade Splicer, so I feel safer attacking in with everybody here. They block with the Prosperous Innkeeper. They'll be preventing some damage, but they'll also be getting rid of something that's going to be gaining them life over time. Mondrak, I feel a little uncomfortable playing Mondrak without mana to make it indestructible, but I think getting it out here is good, especially with the ability to make some tokens next turn if we get a land for Felidar Retreat. They've got 6 mana. They could play their commander. They've got to decide, though. Oh, looks like they're going for Pitiless Plunder. They might be running a combo with Pitiless Plunder. Something like Chatterfang in their deck. Chatterfang goes very nicely with Corvold, since you oftentimes make a lot of tokens, like these treasure tokens, to sacrifice. Kalane, nice! More treasures, and any creatures they cast using treasure mana will now be bigger. So we do have a land here. I could either get down to Defiler of Faith, I could hold open this Fateful Advent, or we could go for Felidar Retreat, play the land, and make a beast. But we're not going to make a beast, we're going to make 2 beasts. And we're also going to prepare ourselves to attack. I think I'm going to buff up the Luminarch Aspirant, swing in, and in again. The Blade Splicer is going to stay back because I don't really want to trade it. I really like this First Strike right now. We're chipping away at their life total, but we're also giving them treasures because when these die, they're going to get 2 treasures. Because I have 1 mana, I can make Mondrak indestructible. So if they have a way to kill Mondrak that isn't -X like a Meat Hook Massacre, we can keep it alive. Fingers crossed that it's not a Meat Hook Massacre in their hand. Oh, black mana. Corvold, no, it's time for their commander to hit the battlefield. Corvold's going to come out and munch a token. Say, yum, treasure. Wait, munching a land? They need this 4 mana for something. Oh, what's this? What's the something they need all this mana for? Waiting to see what they do. Could be a way to kill or exile creatures. Could be something like Languish to take out the board. Oh no. It's the combo. It's Chatterfang, Squirrel General. Now, unless they have a way to get another token entering the battlefield here, they can't combo off. So we will be able to stop them using Fateful Absence. So Fateful Absence, I can either go for the Pitiless Plunder, or I can go for Chatterfang. I'm going to go for Chatterfang, because if I go for Pitiless Plunder, they'll actually get more tokens overall, because they'll be getting a Clue token, and when they get the Clue token, then they'd get another Squirrel token, and it kind of keeps fueling their game plan. Pitiless Plunder is going to still give them a treasure here, though. Okay, there's a Clue. We go to combat! I'm gonna buff up Mondrak and then pass back to them. They could, like, draw 4 cards here by sacrificing the Clue using those treasures. I'm just going to stay back. I've interrupted what would have been an infinite combo, which, by the way, if you've never seen my Chatterfang deck, I run that combo in it because it's very much a must-have. Also, getting to run Pitiless Splinter in Arena is great because it is an uncommon that desperately needs more reprints because it is so silly expensive. This card is hard to come by. Very, very hard to come by in paper. In Arena, it's an uncommon wild card. Throw it in any deck that you're sacrificing lots of creatures. It's good. Very good. And they've got a Nested Shambler out. Makes more squirrels. See, aren't you glad that Chatterfang's off the battlefield? No squirrels to deal with here, but they actually are going to be threatening lethal off just a few turns if they start swinging in with this Corvold. It gets big really fast. Oh, Fresh Prince of Bellerin in my chat just looked up the price for Pitiless Plunder. It's currently got a market price of $11.91. Yeah, that's more than an uncommon from, what, 5 years ago should cost. They get a tapped squirrel. Corvold's just chilling, sitting on his throne, wondering which of his guests he'll eat today. Diabolic Intent. Ooh! Sacrificing a creature and tutoring for a spell. What spell do I think that they would tutor for? They have not quite enough mana to do that Meat Hook Massacre, wipe out my entire board. I would be able to keep Mondrak alive. Corvold getting huge, and if they sacrifice these treasures, Corvold will be even huger. Very chunky. A very big lad. I'm so ready to sacrifice my creatures. I'm just like sitting here with Mondrak, like, I'm ready. I'm ready to eat these cat beasts. I love this art. This is pretty. Oh, I think they might be having some indecision. They're burning through their rope. Let me hit them with a little math emote. You gonna kill me this turn or something? I see at least like 15 damage in the air if they want it. Corvold eats the clue token, draws a card. They have 8 cards in hand, so they're going to have to either play some of those or discard them. And by the way, it would make sense if they have a board wipe to attack first there. That would be the right move. Hello, yes, I have creatures. So many creatures. Are you going to kill my beautiful creatures? Because if you don't, I'm going to have a really big attack next turn. It is indeed the Meat Hook Massacre for X equals 4. See, this is why I wanted Mondrak to be a 5/5. Corvold's getting huge and chunky, and we are going to sacrifice... I don't know. It doesn't really matter. These two. Mondrak lives through this. They draw so many cards. They have 11 cards in hand. Pitiless Plunder dies too. And I go down to 13 life. Corvold is a lethal swing next turn. Oh, they're thinking about something. Oh, they gotta think about what they want to discard. Okay, so they mostly went for lands. I don't have anything great here. I can make cats. I can also rouse rabble. It's not like it does much. See, we got Elish Norn, we got the Cavalier. But we're not going to have enough tokens for it to really make a difference. So I can make a pair of cats, and I can make a pair of humans. But that's not enough to take down Corvold. So it looks like Corvold is going to kill us. I'm going to go ahead and say, good game. There is another piece of removal in this deck that would be able to stop the lethal here at 1 mana. Patriarch's Humiliation. Because I'd be able to take away the flying from Corvold and block with the token. But guess what I don't have? In my hand, I do not have removal. No, I have the Defiler of Faith, which which makes tokens. Not quite what I needed, but still good. We take 16, and we lose. Good game, Corvold. It's time to get milled by Bruvak, the Grand Delinquent. Bruvak doubles the amount that we get milled, which is probably going to mean that this is a Persistent Petitioner's deck, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a Persistent Petitioner's deck. Maybe they're running some other funky form of mill. Hello, Combat Courier. Get some damage in? Sure. I haven't seen a single advisor from them yet. And they draw a card. Cool. Might draw another card this turn off the Combat Courier. I think that would be a fine use of a turn. Ah, and Bruvak's on the battlefield. I'm just going to go ahead and kill Bruvak, because I fear mill. The fact that they did not play a Petitioner on turn 2 makes me incredibly suspect. Play our Heraldic Banner to buff our white creatures and ramp ourselves up. And they're passing the turn, looks like, with 4 mana open, which to me reeks of a counterspell. I am going to throw Mondrak into that. Say, listen, if you're gonna counter it, just do it. Anticognition! Indeed cannot pay 2 mana. So this gets countered. But, it does not guaranteed get countered unless there's, 8 or more cards in my graveyard. There's currently 1 card. Combat Courier, this is going to just be card draw. We take another hit. Oof. Two mana up. I'm going to continue to ramp with a Replicating Ring. The ring, by the way, does eventually make tokens. I like that. I like getting double the ring tokens if this game somehow lasts that long. Spell Pierce, another taxing counterspell. Serra the Benevolent does not resolve onto the battlefield. And Bruvak returns. They have still yet to actually mill me, though. Let's see, we've got the Defiler. I've got this. I like the idea of just destroying their commander. I also would like to get my commander down, though. So here comes Mondrak. If I feel I need to, I will use Patriarch's Humiliation to silence Bruvak. That way, if they try to mill half my library, I can deny them the pleasure. Lier. Okay, lets them recast from the graveyard. Currently, it's only counterspells in a graveyard, though, which they don't actually do anything with Lier on the battlefield. Lier says spells can't be countered. Any spells. Doesn't matter whose. They can't be countered. Which gives me, I gotta say, free reign to start spitting out some tokens. Having a great time. Having a fantastic time, in fact. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Cavalier, got the Defiler. Ooh, I wish I had a little bit more mana. Let's just get some nice big chunky tokens out here while all my things are uncounterable. Listen, you can't counter that. You could bounce it back into my hand. But I don't see anything that's gonna change this situation here. Not when I create 6 servos. Blink of an eye. Alright, so they want to throw Mondrak back into my hand. That means I only get to make 3. Boo-hoo. Return to my hand. We get the Patriarch's Humiliation. I'm going to decline casting that. And I'm just going to recast Mondrak. I wanted to have 6. They can recast Blink of an Eye here. That is, in fact, not a counter spell, so it will go through. And I'm going to sip more coffee. Ugh. And sip some tea, too. Back into my hand. Replicating Ring ticks on up. We've got the Defiler and we've got Mondrak. I would love to start paying with blood. So we're going to get the Defiler of Faith out. Roadside Reliquary. Currently does not get them anything. They have no artifacts or enchantments. I have artifacts. Ooh, I'm sorry, buddy. You're playing Lier. Spells can't be countered. Says so right on the card. You know, when this set came out, I do want to pay 2 life. When this set came out, I would get multiple people coming into my channel telling me, Amy, the game is bugged. The game is broken. I can't counter spells. And they, the person who was playing Lier in their deck, would show me a screenshot like, why isn't this working? I don't understand. Well, my friend, you need to read the cards you're playing. It would be so wild how many people came into my channel saying Arena's bugged. I filed a bug report. I wasted some dev's time because I don't know. I didn't read my own card. Reading the card explains the card. This is the alchemy version of the card, by the way. It's a very minor thing. It just changes what turns you can recast spells on. Alright, look. Now you can counter things again. Arcane Signet. And the Cavalier of Dawn. Does my Cavalier resolve? I'm just gonna blast a soldier token here. Create 2 golems. I could have also sacrificed some things to make Mondrak indestructible and then hit Mondrak with it. And into the Royal on Mondrak. Okay. Mondrak returns to my hand. And my game crashes. Alright, we're going to restart Arena as quickly as we can. I've had Arena crash quite a few times today. Not sure what's going on, but we have enough mana to replay Mondrak. Get another token. We will be paying with blood, though. And are we back? Are we back? Oh, there's a lot of noises. Okay, well, we are back. I can't use my emotes until the end of the game. And here comes Mondrak. I'll pay 2 life. Looking good. I'm swinging with everybody. Looking great. They're down to 16 life. We've got quite the board. Now they could have a River's Rebuke, a Flood of Tears, or something like that to put all these back into my hand. And that would stink, because I've put quite a bit into making all of these beautiful, beautiful tokens. Oh, Brawl. Brawl's going to reduce the cost of their instants and sorceries. Give them a little prize. Ta-da! If they happen to counter something. Oh, look. A spell that counters. I can definitely play this. Or I could just attack in. I'll start with this since it is a permanent. And getting the Defiler of Faith trigger is always sweet. So far, they have done very little milling for being a Bruvac deck. I have not seen any cards of the milling variety. Tale's End. Okay. Sure. In we go. Everybody's swinging in. You have some free blocks on these wee tokens. But my other creatures are pretty scary. Cave of the Frost Dragon, by the way, I'll be able to animate it next turn. And I also now have perfect sacrifice targets. We can get rid of these soldiers that were being blocked for free, make our Mondrak indestructible, and well, gee, they might have been dead anyway. Let's see, we had 5, 10. Oh yeah, they were dead. They blocked 2 1s instead of the 6-5 and the 5-6. Good game? Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I know I was very congested during it, but I did my best to keep the coughing between matches. As always, if you'd like to watch me record these lives, you should come over to twitch.tv/Amazonian. It's my main channel. It's where I stream almost every day, and it's where I'm going to be experimenting with quite a few new to Arena commanders, not just with March of the Machine, which comes out in, what, a month? But also with Shadows over Innistrad Remastered, which is bringing a bunch of old Innistrad cards to Arena in just about a week from when I'm recording this video. As always, I'd love to hear suggestions for what you'd like to see as a new commander. Feel free to leave that in the comments. I actually have a bunch of what I'm going to call Brawl Star Minis coming up, where I'm going to try to put out some shorter episodes featuring revisited commanders where I've updated the deck. So if you are looking at one of my old lists and you're thinking, oh man, I want to see what this deck looks like today, not a year ago when Amy last recorded it, you should also mention that in the comments below. Like, hey, I want to see what your 5-color dragons deck would look like. Cool, I can upgrade my 5-colored dragons and put it on YouTube for you to enjoy. Thank you again so much for watching, and have a brawlful day!